executive member of the Indian Society for Assisted Reproduction, Indian Association of Gynecology Endoscopists, and the Indian Fertility Society. His main area of interest is in ART, IVF-XC, and embryo freezing. Dr. Sanjay.
I'll be talking of the role of step-down protocol in ovulation induction. As we know, the ovarian stimulation has a central role in infertility treatment, whether it is an induction of monofollicular development in anovulatory infertility or stimulation of multiple follicle development in ovulatory women. Whatever the protocol or drug is used, ease of use, effectiveness, safety is of paramount importance. Increasing knowledge in this area has led to the new approaches and research for the previous approaches. Ovulation induction is the most widely used method for the management of patients with anovulatory infertility. And we know that the WHO has categorized the anovulatory patients, and especially the group 2 patients, where the majority of patients are anovulatory and consisting mainly of polycystic ovarian patients. In these patients, we require ovulation induction, especially after the clomiphene citrate is not working. The low dose FSH protocols are the second line of treatment in this group of patients. How the gonadotropin they work? We know that by natural design, all the ovarian follicles are destined to undergo atresia, and only few will be recruited for the growth and development. This early recruitment is free from gonadotropin hormones. Once the antral follicle stage has reached, they are dependent on gonadotropins, and especially they are predominantly estrogenic intrafollicular environment which favors the growth and development. And the presence of androgenic intrafollicular environment will favor the atresia and degeneration. The rescue of follicle cohort from the degeneration is dependent on the rise of FSH to a predetermined threshold level during the late luteal phase or the early follicular phase. Selection, growth, and the multiplicity depend upon the administration of FSH above the threshold, which favors the estrogenic intrafollicular environment. Administration of LH or LH-like content increases the androgenic environment and may cause the atresia, especially of the mid-sized follicle. Selection of dominant follicle is locally regulated mechanism, so we can't affect that. This is how the normal menstrual cycle is going, where if the FSH levels are below the effective daily dose, we will not get any stimulation. And if we have crossed that threshold, we will see the rise in the follicular growth, but it may not be visible in early phase, which is known as the mute phase or the latent phase. And once they have crossed that phase, we will see the rise in the follicular size and the exponential rise in the E2 levels. LH has a definite role in folliculogenesis. LH beyond a certain ceiling level suppresses the granulosa cell proliferation and initiate the atresia or the premature luteinization. LH activity can facilitate the selective follicular growth, decreasing the number of intermediate size follicle and increasing the proportion of women with a single dominant follicle. There are 60 to 80 million couples suffer from the infertility. The disturbance of ovulation is one of the most important cause, and the ability to induce the ovulation induction and achieve the pregnancy is one of the greatest achievements of reproductive endocrinology. Induction of ovulation with the human gonadotropin has been an integral part of routine practice of most infertility clinics in the last 4 decades. Introduced as the substitution for the therapy for the group 1 patient, and now for the amenorrheic woman, and most indicated in most disorders. Gonadotropin increases the number of follicles recruited into the growing pool. They maintain their growth until the more oocytes are available for fertilization. Coming to the treatment scheme, especially for the group 2 patients or the PCO patients, there are the 3 ways we can treat them. Either it is a fixed dose, individually adjusted therapies, or the combined therapies. I will be concentrating more on the individually adjusted therapies, or especially you can say there is the low dose therapies. The chronic low dose therapy is planned mainly to reduce the multiplicity, to reduce the multiple pregnancy, and to reduce the chances of ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. This can be divided into the 2 ways: is a step-up protocol or a step-down protocol. A step-up or chronic low-dose protocol, where the right amount of FSH is given to correct the hormonal imbalance within the polycystic ovaries and allow the ovulation of fewer follicles per cycle. The idea is to get the safe and successful ovulation, indicated most of the time in the non-responding polycystic ovaries. Limitation is the threshold dose necessary to induce the follicular growth may be reached only after prolonged treatment. coming to the step-down protocol, is based on activating the pre-ovulatory follicle and limiting the number of growing follicle by decremental hormonal therapy. 150 IU of the gonadotropins, either is FSH or HMG, can be started from the day 2nd or day 3rd until dominant follicle of more than 10 mm is seen. Then dose is reduced either by 37.5 for 3 days, and next it can be further reduced. The serum FSH levels are raised by exogenous FSH to surpass the threshold. Thereafter, a decremental dose will shut down the recruitment phase and limit the number of continuing follicle by inducing the atresia. The endpoint will be either is a monofollicular growth or oligofollicular ovulation. Follicles are, especially in the polycystic ovarian patients, the follicle are chronically stimulated by the low level of FSH, but do not reach the complete maturation. The elevated androgen that prevents the complete follicular development. Therefore, the ovaries are filled with the multiple small follicle, that 2 to 10 mm in size, and with a prolonged lifespan. In fact, the number of primordial follicle is similar to that of the normal patients, but the number of primary and the secondary follicles are twice than those observed in the normal ovaries. The low dose step down protocol, this protocol is based on the assumptions that the high starting dose replicate the mid cycle FSH surge, and fact that the dominant follicle is less dependent for its development to FSH level than the smaller follicle. A declining dose is a better approximation of normal physiological pattern of FSH exposure. Pregnancy rates are comparable with those reported for the step-up regimes with the low incidence of complications, that is the multiple gestation and the ovarian hyperstimulation. There is another way of step-down protocol that is known as the sequential low-dose protocol. This protocol combines the characteristic of the two prior protocols, that is the initial step-up phase where it is followed by a step-down phase when the leading follicle has reaches 14 mm in diameter. The FSH dose is then reduced by half until the HCG administration. This randomized prospective study, which was presented in 1996 in Fertility and Sterility, showed that the sequential protocol is effective as the low-dose step-up protocol in terms of pregnancy rate and the safety, while reducing the level of estradiol at the time of HCG administration and number of mid-size follicle. The basic idea was to reduce the chance of multiple pregnancy and ovarian hyperstimulation. How to choose the starting dose in these patients? It is often difficult to decide the starting dose in patients with the polycystic ovarian group, where the risk of ovarian hyperstimulation is elevated. To predict the individual FSH response dose before initiation of therapy, Imani et al. In 2002 in Human Reproduction suggested a way or the criteria. You can say there is a BMI, clomiphene resistance, initial FSH level, insulin to glucose ratio, age, free androgen index, and the ovarian volume. All these criteria are put together, it becomes very easy for a step-down protocol to plan an initial dose. To correct the balance between the under and overstimulation with the gonadotropins, which is very difficult to achieve because of wide inter-individual variation in the doses of exogenous FSH required to induce the ongoing follicular development. There are a few studies which try to compare these step-up and step-down protocol. The idea was how and when we can develop the monofollicular development and ovulation, and this was found in the Human Reproduction 2003 presented by Christine, where the monofollicular development and ovulation were achieved more effectively with the step-up protocol, but the pregnancy rate were comparable. There was another study in 2001 which says there is no difference in the doses, length of treatment, and in pregnancy rate, though the less multiple follicles seen in the step-down protocol. Another approach which was presented by Von Sentbrink and Fauser in 2003, which was reported in Human Reproduction, is a novel approach to optimize the treatment with the step-down protocol. In this study, they had a first cycle dose finding low dose step-up protocol in order to determine the FSH threshold for ovarian response. In the second cycle, that is the step-down protocol, where they started a daily dose which was the effective response dose of the first cycle, and it was increased by 37.5. The effective response dose is the dose where they get the 10 mm follicle. The same dose was considered as the effective dose, and they increased 37.5 units. So there is a comparative studies of the few step-up and step-down protocol. You can see the monofollicular development was seen more with the step-down protocol, but the pregnancy rates are more or less comparable. In the last one-centric studies where they have compared the step up and the step down sequential, there was there was equal pregnancy rate either in the first cycle or in the second cycle, and the complications are less, or no multiple pregnancies were seen. Ovarian hyperstimulation was not seen. This low-dose step-down regimen has proven itself as a reliable clinical tool for the induction of ovulation, though monitoring of a step-down cycle may need more experience and skill compared to the low-dose step-up regime. In a small prospective randomized trial, the low-dose step-down and the low-dose step-up regimen given the comparable clinical outcome as far as the pregnancies are concerned, though the period of stimulations are different. In the step-down group, a substantial reduced stimulation period was required with a more physiological late follicular FSH serum profile, and this resulted in a more monofollicular stimulation cycles, coinciding with the more cycle with the estradiol levels are within the physiological range, and so the chances of ovarian hyperstimulations are less. During the last decade, the gonadotropin stimulation has been extensively used in the spontaneously ovulating women with the IUI and ART. With a relatively low mean number of courses per patient, the 16 to 20% of the pregnancy rates can be achieved. In these conditions, we have to understand that ovarian stimulation is only one component. Abulgar et al. Has quoted this line that gonadotropin stimulation protocol, rather than the preparation, is the key factor in reducing the incidence of ovarian hyperstimulation and the multiple pregnancy in the low-dose regimen. So, the conclusion is the step-down protocol should be considered as a good option in the WHO Group 2 PCOS patients. Fewer multifollicular cycles, low cycle cancellation, and the reduced time span for stimulation is the key factor. The dose of gonadotropin is highly inter and intra-variable in the patients. The doses should be adjusted depending on the response and other key factors that can be the androgen index, volume, age, BMI, or the clomiphene resistance in the previous cycle. Both urinary and the recombinant FSH are efficient and safe for inducing ovulation, so it should be left to the center of the clinician to choose which gonadotropin they want to start in this group of patients. Thank you. With this, I will invite all of you to join with us in the Indian Fertility Society National Congress going to be held at Jodhpur, that is known as Fertivision 2012, in the month of December. Thank you.